Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of, well, this is not really an episode of anything, but I'm doing something a little different today, focusing on, I guess, more of the artistic side of magic, where a lot of times we can take something and make it into something beautiful. And that's what we're trying to do today. So for those of you that are my patrons, you guys already know about this, but in the past, I think it was last month, I was giving away free deck layout images to anybody who's a patron at the $8 tier or higher. I've now changed some of my tiers. Some of them I've discounted them. I've made them a little lower, and you can get a deck tier. You can get a deck image for one of the tiers as well. So you can go ahead and check that out at patreon.com/magicalhacker. But for today, what we'll be doing is we will be doing a deck image for one of my patrons, and that way you guys can take a look to see how it's done. And if you want to, you can do it yourself. So I've said this from the very beginning. This deck image layout, I did invent it and I did kind of go through and make it myself, but I'm not trying to make it, I don't know, proprietary. You know what I mean? Like it's whoever wants to have it can have it. I only charge for my services, and you can definitely see what my services will be here in this stream. But in another way, this is also going to be a tutorial. So if you wanted to do it yourself, you can definitely do that. Make sure you go to tinyurl/M, L for the layout. So you'll see it here scrolling on the bottom. You'll definitely see that link. If you go to that link, you will get the deck image, I guess you could say template in GIMP. So here in GIMP, I can go ahead and open that one right here. It's going to be right here, deck. And this is what it looks like. I'll show you exactly all the different pieces and parts of it. But it's basically one giant image with a ton of, what are these called? Guides. A bunch of guides here. So you can take these guides and you can put in your cards from your deck into these guides. And there's even a little bit, let me go ahead and move these toolbars here. There's a toolbox here, which obviously is pretty good, but this layers will show you exactly what I've got going on. So I've got here the background. You can put in whatever image you want. I tend to put a picture of the commander, but you put whatever you want. Each one of these layers is a different card, and I've got them set up into groups. So for example, if you look at this one, this is going to be all in this area. These cards is going to be this group. You've got partners. If you have partners in the deck, then you're going to turn this one off or on. And so you got a bunch of different things here, a lot of different folders, a lot of different layers. I built this here so that you can take this, and if you've got partners or if you have just one commander, you can make a deck layout image that looks really, really sweet. If you want to see an example of that, just let me know. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and do some work here. All right, so the first step in the tutorial into what you need to do, first step is to get your deck and look it up on Scryfall. So you want to get a picture of every card from your deck, and the way to do that is with Scryfall. So let me go ahead and start doing that here. We've got Breffin here. This is my patron, or one of my patrons rather. I've got 12 at the moment. We've got Breffin's deck here, and I double checked with him to make sure that it was okay that he was going to get delayed for his deck layout image so that I could do a stream like this, and he said that was great. He said that was fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and grab the cards from here. So I could just copy paste it and then have to get rid of all these other things, but I don't like doing that. What I like doing is downloading it as, well, it's not really technically a download, but I like exporting it as MTG Salvation. So when I click on that button, the nice thing about Tapped Out is it'll give me a list like this. I can take this list. This is really handy here. I can just copy this one and put it into one of my other favorite tools, bark.wi.mit.edu/tools. This is a bioinformatics and research computing website, and I love using this one for the compare to list. What I usually use this for is I'll put something in here, and then I can paste in somebody else's deck list, and then just with a quick button, it'll tell me what's in both, what's in only one, and which one it's in, and then which one is what is only in that first deck or only in that second deck. So here you can see, since I pasted in the same thing twice, there's nothing going to be, they're completely the same. So that's why these two are blank, and then these two have all 82 of those. So what I like to do here is, because a lot of these numbers here are not one times, I like saving those for later. So you'll see here a lot of snow basics and basics here for Breffin's deck. The rest of this, though, it is just one times. So what I like doing here is I like using the find and replace button. And then from here, I can look up anything that says 1x. So let's type that in, 1x, and I want to replace it with the word or. And so by doing this, I'm kind of preparing it for my Scryfall search. So obviously I can't put in all of these cards, but it is going to allow me to do a lot of really cool things here. So for example, I've got a lot of cards that now have a bunch of spaces. I don't necessarily need that, really. So why don't we do this? We're going to go ahead and get rid of all the spaces. So we're just going to replace all those. We can also get rid of all of the apostrophes, commas, dashes, and what else is there? I guess we could also get rid of other... Well, I guess you could get rid of periods, but I don't think we need to do that. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of the apostrophes, commas, and dashes. And we're going to go ahead. There's no results for that. That's because I don't have the reg X, the regular expressions turned on. So now that I've got those on, we can get rid of all those. And so lastly, the last thing I want to do here is because we've got this, this slash, that slash is useful mostly for getting those double-sided cards. So the way I like to do it is do this. I'm going to use the dash and replace it with a space. So that way when we look this up on a Scryfall, we will definitely get those cards because it will look for both of those names in the title. All right, so now we've got our full list of cards here. I can go ahead and take this list and put it into Scryfall. Now, it's a lot of characters, so I'll run out here on Scryfall. It'll end at Scab Berserker. And so one nice thing about using this website here, I can look up for Scab Berserker, copy all this. I'm going to go back to the previous page and plug that in here. So now I can actually count how many of those cards are in that list. So if I'm looking at just 2, I've got exactly 58 cards, which means that I can go down and make sure that when I look this search up, it will be exactly 58 cards. If it's not, then I know that one of these search titles is actually getting multiple cards. And that's pretty easy to do, pretty easy to fix from there. I have a feeling I already know one of them. So yeah, we've got 90 cards. So we're looking here, we got a lot of lands. We can go ahead and start off by looking at the EDH rec rank, because a lot of times you can take a look at what's at the very bottom and get an idea of what might be coming up, and you know, in the wrong order. Especially if you're looking at a deck like this that's not all 5 colors, you can just look for white and black cards, and that should give you a good idea. For example, Mardu Woe Reaper, that's definitely not in the deck. So this one's probably going to be Reap. I saw this one earlier. We've got Reap in the deck, and so I have a feeling that one's going to be a bit of a problem. Let me go ahead and get rid of one character here just so I can make sure that I grab the right thing. So here it is, Reap. One thing you can do is just put an exclamation point before your name if you have no spaces in it, and that will allow you to find only cards with that exact name. So now we're still finding 62 cards here, certainly more than 58. So let's go and take again, look at the very last few cards here on the list and get an idea of what's coming up. Now both of these cards, I have a feeling both of these are in the deck. We can probably easily check that out, but I'm going to go back to the previous page and scroll all the way down to the bottom, see what else might be coming up. Yeah, 62 cards. Like I said, Adventurous Impulse, Recross the Past. I have a feeling that Impulse is what's coming up, because I don't know if that card makes a lot of sense in this deck. So let's go ahead and find Impulse and get rid of those. Now, again, if we put that exclamation point, we're only going to be finding cards that have that exact name. It's a little weird if you ever have to do it for, you know, dual-faced cards, and it looks like we got to get rid of another. Here, let me do this. Let's get rid of this Apex Altasaur, and then we're going to go ahead and scroll all the way back to Impulse. I typed in that exclamation point, but again, I ran out of characters, so it didn't actually register. All right, so we'll go ahead and put that exclamation point in, and yeah, so now we should be finding it. There we go, 58 cards. So we're finding our 58 cards, no problem. One downside, though, is I want to make sure that I'm getting no reprints. And the reason that I'd like to do that here is when I was talking to Breffin, I asked him, you know, do you have any specific, you know, preferences for editions of cards? And he said, I want to have the oldest card possible for each card. So here we got the oldest card possible for all those cards. He's a true, he's a true lover of the old frames and old cards. So that's definitely going to be something that he likes. So we've got those first 57 cards here. Let's go and get the rest of them. We're going to go ahead and repeat our couple of searches here to continue to do the this, you know, get this list ready for Scryfall. So we'll just repeat that here, and we will keep going. Now, I did mention if I get 2 subscribers here, then we would be doing a gameplay. I do have a lab for my school at 1 o'clock, so that is about 3 hours from now. If I happen to have like an hour and a half before my lab, then I can do a stream of a gameplay, but otherwise I don't think I'd be able to. Let's go ahead and do this 1x, replace that with OR, okay, and then we're going to go ahead and say space or apostrophe or comma or dash. Get rid of all of those. And then lastly, we're going to go ahead and say all the slashes to replace with spaces. So slash replace with space. All right. So now this is good. We got to go find the Scab Berserker. What is Scab Clan Berserker here? There it is. So we start off from that one and go here towards the bottom. Now these lands I can grab too. I do like having that separate as a separate tab just because it's a little bit easier for me to keep track of that. But for right now, we're going to go ahead, open this in a new tab, and we'll go ahead and do this as well. Now, again, we've got less than half the list here, so this should be pretty easy for us to do. Let's go ahead and paste that in. I'm sorry, we didn't actually paste the right thing, so let's go ahead and find that again. Copy this. Let's go ahead and copy it. Copy, and we will put that in. And again, we got to make sure that we're getting no reprints here. So is not reprint. Okay. So that should give us a few cards here. Now, if we can take a look at these basics, we've got 5, 10, plus 13, 23 basics. We don't have Intet yet here. We can just go ahead and add this one in, though. One of the downsides, I think it doesn't give it, right? It doesn't, yeah, no, actually, there it is, Intet the Dreamer. Never mind. So we've got 100 cards here. If we're subtracting 23 from that, that gives us 77 cards total. If this one has 57, we need to have 20 here on this list. And we do have exactly 20 here. So that is pretty good. All right, so now we can go ahead and grab these. And I'm just going to do this manually just because it's a little bit easier than having to set up a regular expression for this. Because you have to do it with specifically a number, and yeah, it's a lot of steps. So I just go here anytime I see a number and an X, just replace it with or. And one interesting thing here is because a lot of these we're also going to be selecting here for non-reprints. We're going to be getting the original basics, so that should be pretty interesting too. All right, so is reprint, and then at the very end we're going to put in a parentheses there as well. So here we go. We got 5 cards. None of these are reprints. Oh, I'm sorry. We have Island of Wok Wok. So we're going to make sure that we select just things that have exactly the island as their name. And we also got Forest here, so let's go ahead and find Forest. We might need to do that for both of the basics. Yeah, we'll do it for both of the basics here. So it might be that Breffin wants to eventually get to the point where they're playing all the all snowlands, but for right now we do have some non-snow land basics in there. All right, so we've got a bunch of islands and forests and mountains. So that's going to be our basic lands. Here are these lands. All right, so here's where it gets a little bit tricky. What I've got to do is I've got to set up my download. So let me go ahead and do this in the other screen. So yeah, we're making pretty good progress. We've got our list opened up on Scryfall. So there's our first step done. First step is done. Second step is now to download all those images. Now I could right-click them and say, save as, but that just takes too long. All right, I'm not about that. I like having shortcuts whenever I can. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go down to the downloads, and you know what? Let me just do this really quick. I'm going to open this bigger. All right, so let me search here for downloads because I want to make sure that I'm setting my downloads to automatically go to my new folder that I made. All right, so we're going to set this change. We're going to change this one. Yep, change this. Okay. Yeah, so I know you can't really see what I'm doing because I'm doing this off screen, but I'm just changing where I'm downloading to. So whenever I download with Google Chrome, instead of it asking me where to put it, I'm going to just tell it where to put it, and I'm going to say, don't even ask me before downloading. Just download it straight away. So I've got here a folder called temp, and I will open that up here. Let me go ahead and show this to you. So this is the folder where I'll be putting everything. It's going to be in this folder, temp. And then I'm going to say here, turn off the ask before saving. All right, so that should work. I'm going to do a quick test run and make sure that works just fine. So the way to do this here is I've got a, which one is it? I believe it is this one, Image Downloader. So I've got an add-on here for Chrome. When I select this one, it'll look on the entire page and look for all the images. So let's say I just want to download just the Lightning Greaves. That's pretty easy. I press download, and then you can see here at the bottom, it'll download the image automatically. It won't even ask me where to put it. And it'll be right here in temp. Let's go ahead and view this a little bit differently. View, we'll view it as large icons. There we go. Oh, let's do extra large. I like extra large here. Let's do extra large. There we go. So we can see we've already downloaded that Lightning Greaves. Well, we're going to go and do that for all those cards. That's the way to do it here. So let's go ahead and find all of those cards. So we're going to say press the, oops, that's not it. Whoops. Press the wrong button. I always do that. Sometimes I press the wrong add-on. This is for taking a picture of an entire web page. I use this pretty often, but Not so much anymore, actually. I used to use it with the MTG Goldfish website when I was making deck text or a thumbnail, and I'd be using the deck layout from that page. I'd be using this add-on. I don't use it anymore after making my own. It does take quite a while, though, to do it, to make my own image here. But it's worth it, I think. It looks super sick at the very end. All right, so we're going to go ahead and press Image Downloader, and we're going to select all. So select all 58, and we can see all those cards are there. Very nice. And we will press Download. All right, so we're going to go ahead and download all of these cards. Download all those. So from there, we will see a bunch of cards coming up here. It'll go automatically, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, I did use this to download cards from my deck pages. So if you want to just right-click and press Save As, that's totally up to you. Again, for me, I like I like doing it where it's all automatic. It's all in one click, get to go. I like it doing it that way, but it's up to you however you want to do it. So we're going to go ahead, and I think that's all of these cards here. Let's just take a look here on temp, see how many images we've got. We've got 58 items here in the folder, so we're good. We can go ahead and get some more cards. All right, next tab here, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Press the Image Downloader. Image Downloader, we're going to go ahead and grab... Yeah, they got a lot of really cool cards here. Scour All Possibilities, I did not realize that was not a reprint. I thought it was. I guess I'm just not keeping up with stuff. We're going to select all 20 cards here and download them as well. So download those. Now, you're looking at these names and like, ugh, these names, how am I going to ever find, which name I'm looking for? Well, I got a program for that too. So I like doing things a little bit, what's the word? Work smarter, not harder, right? That's the way I see it. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. And looks like we've downloaded all those 20 cards. Let me just double check here. 78 items, perfect. And then lastly here, we're going to grab these 5 cards. And again, this makes up 58 of those cards. So I believe we might actually have 2 copies of the Lightning Greaves. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. We're going to go ahead and download these cards as well. So we'll press the Image Downloader, press Select All, and download. Nice. All right, so we've got all those cards that we need. All those in the temp folder. Looks like we've got 83 items. Again, those basics are in multiples, so that's why we don't see a lot more of those. All right, so from here, what do we want to do? We want to go ahead and... I know what I want to do next. So step 1, get the images onto Scryfall. Step 2, download the images into a folder. Now step 3 is to rename them, because as it is... well, actually, no, we don't even have to rename them here. We can just open all of these in layers. So let's go ahead. We're going to move over to the GIMP work page. And I'm going to move this over just so I can read the chat at the same time. So, yeah, there we go. So we've got here the deck image. If you press here, you'll see Open as Layers. You can press this one, and you'll find you can open all of those cards. So let me go ahead and go to my, where is it? Thumbnails. I'm going to go to Temp. There it is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and select all of these cards. So we're going to press Open. All right. So we're going to open all of these cards into the into the GIMP here, and so now we've got that opening. It's taking a long time. You can see here, still loading all of those. So we're just going to wait for it to open all of them, and you'll see one of the problems that doing it this way will cause. A lot of these cards are different sizes. Now, thankfully, we can just resize them into this program. Not too hard, not too bad. And also, we don't even need to rename them because we can just move them however we can look at the name and put them in alphabetical order from there. The downside is, as soon as we hit F and we go to forest, we're going to have to copy that forest a certain number of times. Let me see how many forests we've got in the decks just so we can be a little bit prepared. We've got 7 forests in there, so we'll have to copy it 7 times. And also intet, with intet there, we can go ahead and move that into the, oh, you know what? I see it's actually adding them as new layers. And that's not exactly what I wanted. Although I don't know if it matters. Does it matter? Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't matter. In the past, what I would do is I would just, right-click and paste it into that specific layer. But I found out about Open as Layers recently, and I figured this might be a little shortcut for me to use with GIMP. And it looks like we got all those cards input there. So we're going to be having Lightning Greaves here at the very top. So why don't we do this? We're going to go ahead and go to the Move tool. And we're going to go ahead and move all of these into like the corner. Oops. That's not, I don't want to move the, I want to move the image. So let's just go ahead and move these until we get to, what's the top one here? We're looking for Apex Altasaur. All right, so Lightning Greaves, Breeding Pool. We can actually probably do it like this. We can just put them. So here's the Intet. Intet's pretty cool. Intet's going to be very, it's going to be a very specifically used card here. So we're going to put it, I believe we put it from, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think it's from here. No, that's not it. That's not the right one. It's from this one. So let me go ahead. I'm going to scroll in. So yeah, this guideline that's right here, that one's going to be for the commander. So I'm going to go ahead and blow this one up because this one's going to be the one that's going to be the biggest on the deck image page. And I might be, let me just press cancel. I want to make sure that I'm selecting this one. Oh, it's selecting the wrong layer. You know, let's just do this. We're gonna undo all that because I think I'm doing this the hard way. I thought to open the layers would make it easier, but it's not making it easier. So we're gonna go ahead and closed active image view. I guess that's one. We're gonna say discard changes, and then we're just gonna open it again. Yeah, I was hoping that we could just input those a lot more easily, but it's not gonna be that easy for us, I think. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and find the deck. Here we go. We're going to open that again, and yeah. I was hoping that would be a shortcut, but it turns out going the longer way. So we're not going to be able to do that here. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and do this the longer way. All right, so the first thing I want to do here is I want to rename these because I got to be able to input them the way I need to, and I need to be able to look at them in alphabetical order in order to do that. So I'm going to open up a program here. Let me see if I can find which one it is because I forget. It is the Advanced Renamer. That's the program that I use. So this one allows me to use regular expressions into batch renaming files, which is actually super helpful. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how helpful it really is. So we're going to go ahead and do that here and then rename all of these cards. Now, the majority of them here, they've got 3 letters, a dash, 3 numbers, or up to 3 numbers, dash, and then the actual name. So the idea here is we can just use one of my previously built renaming structures. We can use that and rename these according to that. So what it'll do is it'll take out the set, it'll take out the number, and then it'll capitalize the each beginning letter. So I've got this already set up here. Let's go ahead and add some files. We're going to add a directory actually, and it's going to be the temp folder under Bloodhall. Yeah, I've got everything somewhat organized on my computer. Sometimes it's I feel like I need to organize it even better. All right, so let's go ahead and add those images. Here's that batch method. I've got it all set up where I can replace any starting letter with the capital letter. So we're going to go ahead and do under Bloodhall, we're going to look for temp. Here it is, and press OK. All right, so that's going to add in all those cards. We can see the new file name here. It's going to show up just how we want it. It's going to allow us to alphabetize it very easily. So we're going to go ahead and say start batch and start. Awesome. So now that we've got that done, we can say OK, and we can close out this program. So now we can take a look at this folder. Everything is in alphabetical order, but the problem is, I don't know if you can see this, but in each of the corners, there's a little white area. And so what I need to do is I need to get rid of that white area and replace it with transparency. I've also got another program for that, and that one is the other one, the one that I always get it confused with, XNConvert. So XNConvert, I can input, again, all these images and rename them. So again, if you want to do this yourself, feel free to follow along. But if you want to have me do it for you, again, at patreon.com/magicalhacker, that's where you can sign up and be a patron, and I can get you one of these every month. So if you got 10 decks, 10 months, not a bad idea. But again, if you don't have the money to support me, or you don't want to support me, you think I'm a horrible person, then you can do it yourself. Like I give this for free. Anybody can open up that GIMP file and do it on their own. So we're gonna go ahead. Still waiting for that program to open. When I've got so many things open here, I've got Streamlabs and Google Chrome, and I've got a bunch of different things open here. And GIMP. I got that one as well. That's going to be a problem as well. So we're going to go ahead and add a folder here to XNConvert. And we're going to be looking here for temp. We're going to add in this folder. Select the folder, and that will add in all those, I think it's 78 cards, 83 cards, something like that. And we're going to say convert. Now, the actions here that I've got it first to resize it because we do want it resized. That's definitely a huge part of it. But we also want to add this mask. That gets rid of the layers. So this one sizes it perfectly for our GIMP template. And this the mask will get rid of the corners. So if we were to take a look at the before and here at the after, it's kind of hard to tell. But in the corners, it should get rid of that transparency. Maybe I need to find this one again. Yeah, it looks like it has the right transparency. Yeah, MTG, that's the one. That should be doing it correctly. Yeah, it should be getting rid of that corner. But oh, there it is. Yeah, I do see it. It's transparency there. It's just really hard to tell. So if I do it like this, you'll see definitely it's transparency. See, there it is, transparency. Okay, I was a little worried there. I thought I just kept it as white, but no, it does actually bring it into transparency. So we're gonna press convert. The delete original option is enabled. Do I want to? Yes, I want to get rid of the originals because I want to resize them, and then that's it. That's all I really need. I just need them resized, get the mask, and then the old ones I don't need to keep them. I think this is just fine. So we can go ahead and do all this. And it does put it into a new folder here, but that's fine too. We can go ahead and just go to that folder really quick and then put it back where we need it. I'm actually going to do that in the other screen in the meantime. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. Just give me 1 second here I'm going to move this all over just so it's a little bit easier to see. All right, so it is moving it to my deck text folder, and I'll go ahead and go to that one. And to that folder, oops, file folder, there it is. We're going to go to, this is the new set, okay. And yeah, I do see it adding in, you can actually see it right here. Adding in those cards, no big deal. I'll go ahead and move all those, once it's done, I'll move all those back into the temp folder. And you can see it actually how, the progress it's making. It's got 51 files left over. About a minute left is what it says, but I don't know. That does seem like a bit of an over-exaggeration. It feels like it's going to be a lot more than just 1 minute. But regardless, we're just going to go ahead and wait for a minute. And yeah, it does take a little bit of time, but you know what? I'd rather have this waiting time where it does it automatically than having to go and do it myself, Getting the transparency, getting it renamed, getting it resized, doing all this stuff manually. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time. And so again, if you want to do it, that's fine. You can do it this way, how I do it. Like I said, I like this. If you don't like this, if you don't want to be doing this automatically, you'd rather do it manually, that's okay. Do it however you'd like. But yeah, this is going to be one way that I can do it a little bit faster. And so the last step of the deck layout image process, or I guess maybe the second to last step, is to go ahead and put those images in. Now, we do see the commander right here. The commander is going to be a little bit of a different story because we want to make sure that we're getting it in a specific way. We're getting it in a larger image format. So I'll show you how to do that in a second here. All right, so we're going to keep waiting. Looks like it's about 34 seconds left. No problem. By the way, if you like listening to music, and I know I do, then this is going to be probably a weird stream. There's no music in the background, and I'm a little bit worried with Twitch because I've been hearing rumors that you can't play any music at all. They're just going really crazy on the stream ending for that, and it looks like there we go. It is done. All right. So that program, it will automatically close. We'll go ahead and copy all of these and move them into this folder, and that way we can keep working in this same folder. All right. So we've got everything we need. We're just going to go ahead and wait for this to finish. We've got everything renamed the way we'd like it to. All of the things, you can see there's no more white corners because that has been replaced with transparency. Although I'm seeing something here. Is that not supposed to be like that? I have a feeling something went wrong somewhere. But that's okay. We'll figure it out as we go along. All right, so the first thing I would like to do here is go back to... Actually, let's just do it. We're going to copy this image. Go to the GIMP file, the template. Go to the very top. So this is going to be for the commander. That's one commander. This is for when you have partners. So there's the first partner. There's the second partner. And this one is going to be for both. So we can start off with this first one. Input the image. I believe this will allow us to do it this way. There's no image data in the clipboard to paste. Okay, well, that's not what I was hoping to do. We're going to go here and let me try this one more time. Copy and paste. If not, I will have to do it manually, where I open all of these in GIMP files, which I have a feeling is going to be really bad on Streamlabs, because GIMP can certainly take a lot of, still says there's no image data in the clipboard to paste. So why don't we do this? We're going to go ahead and, yeah, I hate doing this, but we're going to have to do it. I'm going to open all of these as in GIMP. And you know what? Actually, let me do this a little bit. I'll do it in piecewise. So let me do it up until forest. So that's a good way for me to remember not to skip past forest. So we're going to go ahead and edit all of these and edit with photos. It's not what I want. Maybe we can't do all those at one time. I guess we have to do it in smaller chunks. Let's do 10 at a time. That sounds pretty good. We're going to press edit, and so that's going to open all 10 of those into GIMP. And we're just going to wait here as it opens them. Yeah, again, when you're running this many programs, it's not going to be that fast. That's all I can say. So we're going to have all of these open up. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why if you're not a big fan of having to do this yourself, then this is going to be one way that I can help you out. So we're going to go ahead and select this one, select it all, cut it, and then go to the deck image, and we're going to paste that one in. That's the first one. Oh no, it actually did not resize it the way I needed it to. But that's okay. We can actually fix this pretty easily here. I thought I set this up to resize to the right size. I guess I didn't. Let's go ahead. Actually, no, this is fine. I was going to say I want to make sure it keeps the scale, but you know what? It doesn't matter because we got guidelines for everything. We're going to press scale, and that's going to put it into that. All right. So next on the list is Arcanus. We'll go ahead and select all that, cut it, and then we're going to make sure that we set this to go to that layer. Next layer here, we can paste that in. We're going to go ahead and resize that one as well. So we can go ahead, put this into the top corner. Actually, it's not wanting to do that here. Why don't we just do this? We're going to go ahead and start by moving it in that way and then resizing it. Okay. So yeah, again, if you want to be a patron, I can do this for you. This doesn't bother me as long as, you know, I've got such great support on Patreon. That's one thing I really live for here, is having such a great audience. All right, so Apex Altasaur, Arcanus is the next one in. So we're making progress slowly but surely. Next one here on the list is going to be Archaeomancer. We will cut that, and we'll go to the next layer here. Set this to end that, and we will go ahead and paste that in. Move it to the top corner. Scale it to the bottom corner. I wish this scale was not like right in the way. All right, so there we go. We're going to scale it, and then we're going to put it into the layer. All right, so we're making pretty good progress here. Again, adding in those cards, making the deck layout for Breffin. So this one we're doing pretty good on this one. Okay, so what else do I want to do here? I think next I'm going to be going to, let me see. I guess I got to go next to the Atarka's command. Let's go to Atarka's command next. I'm going to select it all, cut it, and then paste it in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move this one here, move that up, and then scale it. We're going to scale it to the bottom corner. Okay, scale it, and then put it into the layer. Not bad. We got room for one more, and then we're going to take a look to see if we've got either commanders or partners, and it depends on what we have, how we keep going. All right, so let me take a look here. We're going to look at... yeah, we're going to look here, so I'm looking in the wrong spot. We've got, next is B, so we've got Balefire Dragon with the BA. So we'll go ahead and do that one next. So cut that, and then paste that one in. Move it to the top corner. Scale it to the bottom corner. And again, scale window in the worst possible position. And then we'll press scale there and put it into the layer. All right. So now the next thing here is going to be if we've got a single commander. Well, we do have a single commander, so these next two are going to be good. So here's the next layer for us to use. I'm going to move this back, and then I'm going to go ahead and just move this over. Okay. So next one here, we've got BA. Next one I think is going to be BE, right? Yeah, that's the next one that I'm seeing here. Beanstalk Giant, we're going to select that all, cut it, and paste it in. Move it to the top corner. Scale it to the bottom corner. Okay, and then press scale, then put it into the layer, and go on to the next one. Now this one's not selecting this one because we have to go all the way actually over to here. So this area that you're seeing right here, this is saved for the commander. And I can actually go ahead and put that one in. Let me go ahead and show you what we do for the commander. So I go ahead and find the commander here on this page. I know it's going to be on the first half because it's in the eyes. So, oh, I'm sorry. I have to sort this by name. Makes it a little bit easier to find it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab the intet. We're gonna click on it, and that way we go to the actual page for it where the image is a little bit bigger. So let's press intet. We're gonna go to that page. We're gonna make sure that it's the plain chase version. We don't want to find something else. We want to make sure that we're grabbing the original. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. Save image as, and I believe it should save it automatically. I believe it should. Let me just double check. It doesn't, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and put it in anyways. So we're going to go ahead and open PLC here. So we just scroll down to PLC. Let's go ahead and find that one. Where is it? And it might actually not be that big of a deal here. Oh, I'm sorry. Primal Wellspring. That's what the extra card was. I was wondering what was coming up as an extra card on the original one, but that's what it was. All right, so here's PLC Intet the Dreamer. It's only 672 by 936, so we're going to have to scale it up anyways. In that case, what we'll do instead is, let me just find the actual intet, and that should be under the eye. Here it is, Intet the Dreamer. We're going to go ahead and edit this one, and I'll show you how we're going to make it a little bit bigger. So we just copy it, paste it in, and make it pretty, yeah, it does it pretty easily from there. So we're going to go ahead and select all, cut it. We're going to go back to our deck layout, and we're going to go up here to the commander one. So we just take this and put it in here. Either way, we're going to have to be scaling it up. But the nice thing here is this image is so big that you're going to be wanting to zoom in on the actual cards. So the fact that this is scaled up is actually not going to be that big of a deal. You know, it looks great here. You zoom in. I mean, you're not going to look better than that. That looks pretty good. So Into the Dreamer here is going to be the commander. Now you can see all those rectangles that were going to be for cards. Those are now gone. And so it's basically these cards that it will take up. And that means that the remaining cards will be exactly 99. If we didn't have this one, I'm going to go ahead and put it into this. If we didn't have this one, instead we had the partners, we would not be using these boxes, but we would be using these boxes. And so that will remain us with 88. So instead of using these 5, we're going to be using these 6. So you can see that allows us to have one fewer card outside of the partners. So bunch of words, they don't mean anything. We're just going to keep going. All right, so we're done here with the both. We're going to go ahead and go down to the Beanstalk Giant, and then here's the next one. So the Beanstalk Giant was the next one. After Beanstalk Giant, let's see, we've got BL. Blast might be next. Yeah, I think Blast is next by alphabetical order. All right, so we're going to go ahead, select it all, cut it, go here, paste it in. We're going to move it to the top corner. We're going to scale it to the bottom corner. Okay. Let me just double check this is working the way I need it to. Yeah, it is. Okay. And we're going to press scale. Then we're going to put it into that layer. And there we go. Now we're good. Now we can go to the next folder, which is, again, things that are going to be here for both commanders. So I have a bunch of folders, you know, depending on if it's a partner or if it's not a partner. So that's kind of the way it works. We've got Blast of Genius here. So from this point, we can go ahead and keep going. So we've got Blast of Genius. I think Bloodfire Colossus is the next one. Yeah, it looks like that's the next one. So we're going to go ahead and select it. And you don't necessarily, let me do this here. Select all, cut it. Okay. You don't necessarily need to do it in alphabetical order, but I find that's the order that I like the most because there's not really another order that's as like undebatable. You know what I mean? Like if you wanted to do it, I guess some people might want to do it by card type, but you know, if you have an artifact creature, do you put it with the artifacts or do you put it with the creatures? What about enchantment artifacts? Do you put that with the artifacts or with the enchantments? I mean, it just gets, you know, there's too many options for when something might not actually fit. And then on top of that, sometimes you've got effects that create creatures, like you can create a token. Do you put that with the creatures because it's technically going to fit as a creature in the deck or not? Like it's just too complicated. And then you can get to the point where it's like even, you know, past that. What if you have a card like I guess Hedron Archive's an okay example. And not the example that I was thinking of, but let's say you have a card that's both card draw and ramp. Do you put it with a ramp or with the card draw? You know, it's really hard to put it into a specific order unless that order is like, there's no doubt about it. And I think that's the way it works with alphabetical order. There's no arguing that something is in the alphabetical order or not. It just is, you know what I mean? So we got Bloodfire Colossus as the next one. Next one here, I think is going to be the Breeding Pool. It looks like that's what it is. Select all, cut it, and we're going to go here to the next layer, paste it in, move it to the top corner, and then scale it to the bottom corner. Scale it, and then put it into the layer. Nice. All right, so again, we're just going to be doing this for all the other 100 cards. And I guess if you're watching this on YouTube, there's no reason for you to watch me go through all of these. So I guess if you're here on Twitch, I mean, just open up music, whatever you want to listen to. In the meantime, I'm just going to be doing this, silently. There's not really anything else for me to say. Just going to be, going through these cards, grabbing the next alphabetical one, cutting it, pasting it into the right layer, and just doing that step over and over. So you might see me doing this in, I guess, maybe faster time here on YouTube. So I'll see you guys in just a second. But I guess if you're on Twitch, you're going to be listening to me not doing anything. You're just going to be watching me do this. If you have any questions, again, let me know in chat. Looks like everybody kind of understands what's going on. I've tried to make sure that this is as straightforward as possible. So I guess I did pretty good on that. All right, go ahead and close all these out. Okay, so we've got all those cards in here. Here's kind of the almost finished product. We've got all 100 cards here in the deck layout, having done this. So now we've got just one final step, and that last step is to put the background image. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the image for Intet the Dreamer. Although because of the way that this deck was titled, so if you come back here to the original deck title. Breffin named this Intet the Dreamer featuring Melek, because Melek is one of the creatures in here. We see right there, Melek. And on the deck image page, it is, where is it? I think it was right here somewhere. Sorry, I should have prepared this. Where is Melek? I feel like I saw it here. Yeah, here it is, Melek. We could technically put Melek in the background. And I'm going to make that kind of decision here. If Breffin wants it with Intet, that's easy to do as well. But for right now, let's go ahead and put Melek back there. I think that'd be kind of cool. So I'm going to go to mtgpicks.com. That's a great place to get all sorts of, if you want to grab, card images. I love this website. This one has a lot of great stuff. And it tends to have, well, with a lot of other sites, if you don't have great quality, they just don't put it up there. In this website, at least they give you the best possible quality for any card. So even if it's a small image, at least you can know, like, hey, this is the best that they've found. They didn't forget about it. Like, they know that they have this available. So I'm going to go ahead and find Melik here. And they got a bunch of the new the arts for those front cards for Jumpstart. But we're going to go and grab the image for Melik. And it doesn't need to be super high quality. Again, this background isn't going to be the main focus point of the deck layout. So we don't have to worry about it not being big enough here. So I'm going to go ahead and move it over. Because I want to take this image. Oop, not going to do that. We're going to take this image, put it in the top corner here. And that looks good to me. We're going to go ahead and then scale it. So we're going to go ahead and scale this image all the way. And I want to make sure here it's at the very top. And it looks like it's just slightly below. So I'm actually going to move it right there to the top. All right. Yeah, that's the top corner now. Okay, so now when we scale it, if I scale it here, I can go ahead and scale it to the full thing. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I do want to make sure that I keep the aspect ratio on this perfect, because if I need to cut off from the top or bottom, and it looks like I will need to cut off from the top or bottom here, I'd rather do that than to have, you know, something not exactly right. So let's just go ahead and get this all the way up to the image size. And I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to this kind of stuff. I guess that's shows you the quality of my work. All right, so we've got this here. I'm going to go ahead and scale it, and then from there I'm going to go ahead and move it. So I'll probably move it up a little bit. We'll see how it works out. Because again, it all depends on, you know, what you want that background image to be. It's really up to you. So we're just going to wait for it to finish scaling, and there it goes. Okay. So now we can go ahead and move this guy up. So yeah, that looks a lot better. We can tell what's in the background, and let me just do this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy visible and then paste it into a new image. That way we can see it without all of those guidelines. And look at that. That looks pretty sweet. Pretty good. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. Everything looks aligned. I am seeing a little bit of white here in the corners of these alpha images, but that's because of the roundedness of those cards. So that's one of the downsides for using the old cards. You know, you won't be able to get that white out of the way. But other than that, I think this looks great. So thank you so much for joining me for this stream. It looks like we didn't get the subscribers that we were looking to get to do a gameplay, but that's okay. Ultimately, it's fine. Right now, it's 11:25, so it took me about an hour and a half to do all this. Which I think is pretty good. I know in the past it took me about 2 hours, so I definitely have improved. But yeah, an hour and a half to get one of these images, that's not bad at all. And I think this was a lot of fun. We got Breffins here. And again, I could also make it where instead of that background being Melik, I could do it instead where it's intet instead. So let me go ahead and let me take a look at that, see what that looks like instead. So that way I can maybe even give both of them to Breffin and say, hey, you know what? Whichever one you like more, this is all up to you. If you want something else in the background, that's also pretty easy to do. But we're going to go ahead and let me get that intet there, because I want to see what that looks like. I have a feeling this might even look better. And that might be just me. You know, I tend to like exactly the commander in the background. But yeah, I want to see what it looks like here. Let's go ahead and move this to the top corner. I think I did better that time. Awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and scale this one. Scale this over. Let me kind of zoom out a little bit here. Scale this over to the edge. That's the one downside here, is with having so many guidelines, it's hard to scale it exactly to the edge. But I got to do my best. That's the way it's done. Oops. Let's not do it that way. Oop. Well, I got to restart it anyways. Let's retry this. Let's scale it over. I guess let me do it from here. Let's scale it over. And I want to use a top one too, because I don't want to get lazy with it. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that I'm getting it exactly. And I know it doesn't really matter. Like when you look at this edge, you're not going to be able to tell if there's a pixel missing or something. But I still want to do it this way. Let's kind of. I guess I can't really scroll down, can I? Let me do this. Let me move this up. Maybe that'll be better. All right, so on this edge, yeah, we got to fix this one. Let me go ahead and do that. Yeah, see, it's not letting me go all the way down. Yeah, you know what? Let me do this. Let me do this. I'm having a little bit of frustration here, so why don't we do this? Let's just move this all the way to the top. There we go. That way, we can fix where it goes afterwards. But for right now, let's just go ahead and set this. And I guess I probably even want it. Yeah, let me do it like this. Let me get that edge there perfectly. Let's try it like this. There we go. And so now, if I scroll over to this side of the image, there we can see Dan Scott's name. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and scroll this up. There we go. All right. So now I can go ahead and put Intet where I want Intet to be. And I think that looks pretty good. We get most of his wings and his head at least. Getting his head, I think, is what's most important. Let me make sure. Let's scroll it just down a little bit. Oops. Oh, you know what? That undoes the scale. Well, now we got to restart. All right, why don't we do this? Let's try it this way. What is the total size of the image? The width is 5120. So let's just do that. We're going to press the scale button again. And we're going to say width, I want it to be 5120. Okay, there we go. Oops. Did not mean to press that. Let's go back here. 5120. Okay, we're going to press scale. And then afterwards, we're going to move it to the right spot. Like I said, it's most important to see the head, really. But a lot of this is going to be covered up by the cards anyway, so we don't have to worry about it too much. I just love the way, like, that big commander and then the background being the same art. I don't know, just something about it. It looks really, really fresh. It's almost, I guess, because it's the same art, those colors match the commander, so it gives this, like, a sense of oneness. Whereas, you know, with this one, it's not bad. It just looks kind of, I don't know, to me, it just gives me, like, this tacky feel to it. Maybe Breffin likes it more, and that's really up to Breffin, you know, like, it's whatever he likes. But for me, I think I might like this one better. Yeah, I like this one better so far. We're going to go ahead and move it. So let me see here. You know, I'm kind of curious. If I press scale again, yeah, it does let me move it from here. So let me go ahead. I'm going to move this up. And I need to fix that. Might actually be okay, though. Yeah, let's do it like this. I'm going to move it to... Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Let me make sure the edges are good, though. Yeah, see, the edges are not good. Let's just press scale, and then after that we'll move it, and we'll move it over to the exact edge of it. In the meantime, we're just gonna look at Saheeli's artistry. Not too bad. Yeah, you know, I kind of like this. It's a little bit weird. I think it's because the picture of Intet is a perfect square, so it's a little bit awkward. But I think this is good. I think this is pretty good. We're still waiting for it to scale. Right now, GIMP is having trouble responding, but that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and press the move button. And we're going to move it over by 1 pixel. There we go. All right. So I guess if I go here to the edge, I need to move it over a couple more pixels, it looks like. Yeah, just move it over a couple more. I'm waiting here to move it, and there we go. Perfect. Okay, so there it is. We can go ahead and make that the background here. Perfect. We can see Intet in the background a little bit. So let me go ahead. I'm going to copy this one, copy visible, and then put that as a new image as well. All right, so here we go. Bam, finalized image. Thank you so much for joining me for this stream. I had a lot of fun actually making these deck layouts. Again, if you want to make one, be sure to watch the full tutorial here. And if you want me to make one for you, visit patreon.com/magicalhacker. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time. Stay awesome, everybody.